Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, who this world so ignorantly calls God, and Jesus Christ, whose true names are, in the Hebrew, right, the Paleo Hebrew, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Ha-Rachak-Wadash. Alright, double honors be unto the apostles and elders at Great Millstone, who rule well, and to us this 100% truth. Much peace and blessings be unto you, hopeful, like that to push not this word of thought, truth, and sincerity to all you I do say Shalom. I'm the Akira. I'm coming in with, redoing Obadiah, the first chapter. I wanted to get into, what's it called? I messed up on verse 4. I made the mention about the ISS, but the thing is, what's it called? Esau hasn't passed the part of the atmosphere, man. So I'm about to redo that. And the Lord was edifying because the scriptures say, in Ephesians, if I'm not mistaken, or Galatians, I forget, the fourth chapter, verse 6, it makes a mention how a little leaveneth up the whole lump. And now with one little lie makes the whole truth a lie. So slacky about that. I'm going to redo it now. This is the book of Obadiah, the first chapter, verse 1. It reads, the vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord Yahweh concerning Edom. Which that word vision goes back to the Hebrew word chazawan, which means an oracle, prophetic dream, divine communication, and this particularly signifying what's it called, the future judgment of Esau, Edom, and it's happening at a gradual pace, man, right? What's it called? This place is collapsing hard, man. So we have heard a rumor from the Lord, which that word rumor, right, means, what's it called? It goes back to the Hebrew word shomai, meaning report, tidings, news, basically news, right? And rumor is an unverified piece of information, whether true or false. In this case, we know it's true, right? But what's it called, to the masses of our people? They think this thing to be folly, man, something stupid, right? Because what's it called? They always put the argument out that the book is made by man and whatnot, and not by God. Well, Heavenly Father going to come down here and write the book for us, man. He commands, what's it called, write the book. He commands his men, right? The servants, the prophets. That was in the book, the second Ezra, the 15th chapter. It makes the mention now. Verse, what's it called? 1, behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, right? And cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. What's it called? Adding on to that's been digitized as well. That's why we have it on, what's it called, technology, devices, laptops, phones. What's it called? Doing these, what's it called, lessons on the phone. What's it called? And cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. That's the point, man, right? What's it called? This thing is a true verification of these rumors from the Lord, right? What's it called, to the masses of our people? They rather seek a physical sign, like how Shai said, what's it called, foul, wicked, and adulterous generation seek a sign, but they shall not receive one. But what's it called, the sign of the prophet Jonas, generally that's how Shai speaking, generally referring to the prophets in general. Basically we're out here, what's it called, teaching you these things, speaking of the book, man. If you guys can't receive that, then you guys, what's it called, aren't it, man. You guys aren't meant to receive this thing. What's it called? Proverbs the 13th chapter, verse 13. If I'm not mistaken, whosoever despises the word shall be destroyed. To roughly paraphrase. But what's it called? Yeah, going back to second Ezra the 15th chapter does make the mention now. In verse 3, free not the imaginations against thee. Yeah, the imaginations, because what's it called? Throughout history, written history, you had people, what's it called, come against the prophets, man. They would slay them and cut them into pieces. And those spirits are back here again today. Revelation, the first chapter, verse 7, they which pierced them, because what's it called, all spirits come back, there's no new thing under the sun. So the same spirits that slew Yahweh Shai, what's it called, that martyred, what's it called, the disciples, the prophets, what's it called, all those spirits are back here again today, and they're thinking evil thoughts, man. And that's why, what's it called, one thing to be, what's it called, one thing about camp is always staying vigilant, man. What's it called, using discernment, right? Hey, what's it called, being why the serpents and harmless as doves, trying to cool situations and things of that sort. That's an example. Fear not the imaginations against thee, not the incredulity of them trouble thieves that speak against thee. Which that word incredulity basically means a disregard or disbelief, man. Because they're in disbelief when we talk about the future prophecies against America, that America will be destroyed by way of thermonuclear destruction. And that's alongside Yahweh Shah and the angels, as well as the ICBMs, which the Lord, the Heavenly Father, will put His Spirit upon them to direct them to their targets, right? Putting this place first and foremost, though the whole globe was to call was chic and real to and fro, right? As I say, the 24th chapter, hey, it's gonna quake, man, pretty hard. But it goes on to say, flood up the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness, man. right? And that applies to what's it called to the mainstream Christian media out there, which includes what's it called Catholics and Catholicism, man, because what's it called? They had the Great Schism, that split back in 1054 AD, so technically Catholicism, or how you pronounce that shit, descends from Christianity. So all these modern day Christians, they're all through, man, because what's it called? They disregard this thing. What's it called? They have no works. They claim they have faith, but what's it called? They don't have no works because what's it called? They consider it a waste of time. What's it called? You got freaking, what's it called? Jehovah's Witnesses out there walking with the pamphlet, just walking back and forth. Where's the teaching at, man? Where's the song and the crying? Where's the prophesying at? I go to show you those are the men of the Lord, man. What's it called? The true prophets are out there in the highways and byways, man, right? So the Lord's dealing with GMS, right? And the like-minded camps that follow that lead. But what's it called? It wasn't to say back in Obadiah, the 1st chapter. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Right, which that word ambassador, I broke it down last time. You could, what's it called? Technically an ambassador is a high-ranking diplomat that leads other diplomats, and they're sent in as government representatives to talk and negotiate with another country. They're sent forth from their country basically to talk and negotiate with the target country, if you will. And they're working what is known as an embassy, which is like official government with the presence of one country's government in a foreign country's capital, right? Capital city. And what's it called? With that being said, and you could liken the ambassadors to the apostles, man. All right, because apostle literally translates back to the Greek word apostolos, which means sent, sent forth. Hey, because Matthew the 28th chapter verse 19, Yahweh did send them, right? What's it called? If I can pull that out. What's it called? If I can pull that precept out. It does make the mention now. I'm gonna start off at verse 16 actually. It does read the mention. Then the 11 disciples went away into Galilee. Yeah, because what's it called? Scary wasn't there, man. What's it called? He killed himself, man. And that goes to show you how he's an Israelite, man. Because they can repent. He slew righteous blood, and what's it called? He committed suicide. So then the 11 disciples went away into Galilee into a mountain where Yahweh had appointed them. And when they saw him, they worshipped him, but some doubted. And Yahweh came and spake unto them, saying, all power is given unto me in heaven and in earth. Go ye therefore. This is the point right there. Go ye therefore, and teach all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Ghost. Right, which really we all know those nations are referring, what's it called, to the Israelites, man. Israelite foreigners. Right, 1 Peter, the 1st chapter goes into strangers. Looking at that word stranger in the Greek, it means parepidemos. And parepidemos, if I'm not mistaken, that's the proper word. And what's it called? It basically goes into how someone that dwells in a land not native to theirs, right? Someone who resides in a country of foreigners, right? So that's referring to the Israelite foreigners, because what's it called? One of our curses, pursuant to back to Deuteronomy the 28th chapter, was that we'd be scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, man. That's why, what's it called? That's why you got Jake out there looking like, what's it called, Moab and Ammon. You got Jake looking like what's it called, Amalek, man. That's a fulfillment of prophecy. Also, what's it called, in Jeremiah the 12th chapter, verse 9, it does make them mention how mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. Right? You got a speckled bird. It has many, what's it called, colors of the rainbow. Many hues. What's it called? That's how Jake is likened to. What's it called? That's why Revelation, I forget what chapter it was in, went into how many peoples and of many tongues that's going to all Israel, man. Scattered abroad. That's why, what's it called? It goes into how, what's it called? The angels deliver us at the four corners of the earth. It ain't referring to the heathen nations, man. When Yahweh made the mention, there's no what's it called, difference between the Greek or Jews, referring to all Israelites, man. It ain't referring to a spiritual Israel, or what's it called, a little Edomite Greek could actually be part of the, no, it can't be part of the elect. I forget what chapter it was in the book of Genesis, what's it called, we're into how for Father Abraham would be a father of many nations, referring to Israelites, man. Yeah, because the covenant is with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? So-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, right? Not everybody else. So all that bullshit talk about, in the kingdom of heaven, I'll be holding hands with my oppressors. That's bull. We ain't gonna be holding no hands with our oppressors. We're gonna be putting our legs on their backs. But what's it called going on? It says, an ambassador sent them under either. Yeah, what's it called? If I can add on to an embassy, they got something known as a consulate. Which is a light version, if you will, of the embassy. It's what's it called, office branch, and it's found in major cities of that same country. you know, and they're led by a consul, like the manager, basically the head of that, just like an ambassador is over, what's it called, at the embassy. You can liken the consulate to the GMS camps and like-minded, GMS branches, right, and the like-minded camps. You got swords for Yahweh Shai, servants like Yahweh Shai, etc, right? What's it called? You could liken those consuls to the bishops and pastors. Made that mention last time. You know, not everybody's qualified to be what's it called, a bishop. Not everybody's required for or qualified for episcopacy. You know, a general term for bishopry, if you will. You know, pursuant to what Paul made the mention, how what's it called? You could have what's it called? You know, you can't be a 19-year-old what's it called elder, man. You can't self-proclaim yourself like that. It's a form of pride, man. We're not about that. What's it called? It goes on to say, an ambassador sent among the heathen. Again, likening to the apostles and the rest of the diplomats. You could liken them to what's it called? The prophets in general, right? Elders, what's it called? Brothers out there. Reads on. They sent among the heathen. Rise ye and let us rise up against her in battle. You know, which that word ambassador goes back to the Hebrew word tazawar, you know, meaning an envoy, a messenger. Envoy meaning a temporary messenger. And if you think about it, you know, as the apostle Paul made them mention how what's it called, for our light affliction is but for a moment, right? It's really all for a moment, you know, right? Because it's really an afflicting thing for the servants of prophets to be out there, man. What's it called? You know, all this constant backlash against them. And one thing to know about is that they always hate the truth, man. The people hate the truth. You know, they hate rebuke. They hate when they're corrected, man. They get butthurt about it. And what's it called? They slay the prophets, man. You know, but generally referring to what's it called, light affliction, referring to all the crap we have to go through first. You know, captivity and all that crap, all that oppression. You know, which is off but for a moment. But what's it called? Really teaching is also but for a moment as well, man. Right? It's a temporary thing because in the kingdom, I forget what chapter it was in the book of Ezekiel, makes mention how you won't teach our neighbor, man, because all Israel will be perfected, man. They all have all the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And because we're gonna be gods, man. So what's it called? You know, what's it called? Really, it's a temporary thing, and we're messengers, right? The prophets are messengers. You know, what's it called? That goes to show you how a prophet is an angel in the flesh, right? Because that word angel, you know, basically means a messenger, right? Galatians the 4th chapter, verse 14. The apostle Paul made the mention how you receive me as an angel of the Most High, right? Going on, it says, arise and let us rise up against her in battle, which was it called? That message, really rumor of the Lord that we bring is World War III, man. You know, eventually all nations will war against America, right? That was Revelation, what's it called, 17th chapter, if I can pull that out. You know, which you know, we understand 10 of the horns, referring to what's it called, EU, if I'm not mistaken. We could also liken it to the other countries, man. You know, all of America's allies, right? They have been confederate against each other. What's it called? Betrayed. To roughly paraphrase Revelation the 17th chapter, verse 16, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, right? And shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire, which we know that whore to be what's it called, referring to America, right? Babylon the Great in the scriptures. And these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. What's it called? And I ain't talking about no little physical horn, you know, which on physical touch, or the tip of the horn to skin, it magically consumes it and it burns her. You know, that's not what it's talking about, man. You know, what's it called? Those 10 horns are, what's it called, significant, representing something, right? They're representing nations, man. You know, all those other nations. And they're gonna, what's it called, shoot their shots at this place, man. You know, what's it called, by way of ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles. The scriptures refer to what's it called as arrows and swords, man. That goes to show you how, what's it called, the scriptures deal with code names, man, code words. You know, I always make them mention, the Lord ain't gonna, what's it called, the Lord never introduced us to the English, man. He wasn't gonna tell us, a prophet Isaiah, you know, Jeremiah, what's it called, there's gonna be an English language, and what's it called, you can have ICBMs. No, they just saw the visions, man, but they didn't know what they was, but they always refer to it as what? A sword, because that's what a weapon is, man. What's it called? All right, for Yahweh, Hashem Yahweh Shai hath put it in their hearts to fulfill his will. Yeah, that's the whole will, man. That's the whole story. You know, America being what's it called, that last queendom, if you will, to rule and wreak havoc upon the earth, and it's gonna be destroyed, and it's gonna be a big memorial, what's it called, for all generations, right? And because Sodom and Gomorrah wasn't enough, man. That's why the Lord's gonna have to, you know, redo it upon America, man. For Yahweh hath put in their hearts to fulfill this one, to agree and give their kingdom into the beast, into the words of how it should be fulfilled. Right? What's it called? Continuing on. It makes the mention how, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. I wish that word small goes back to the Hebrew word quatan. Quatan meaning, basically mean worthless, man. You know, Esau's being rendered, and has been being rendered insignificant, what's it called, to the nations for quite a while now, man. Right? And because they're starting to see, what's it called, this devil for who he really is, man. You know, that I greatly despise. Yeah, this man is really hated, man. And it's gonna reach a point where, there's gonna be a third world war. And they're all at the end of that. What's it called? You got all this fighting between nations, but at the end of that, they're all betray this place, man. The pride of thine heart had deceived thee, right? And that pride, man, that's what Esau has, man. That's how you can tell that's an Edomite. What's it called? It was probably basically reminiscent on one's own achievements, man. You know, what's it called? Out there praising themselves. They worship me for that, man. What's it called? That's what Esau be like. Right? What's it called? Out there thinking that they could achieve immortality, and that's a form of pride that deceived them. What's it called? That's why they're trying to switch up foods and make it look like that. That's why we're so youthful at this point right now. What's it called? The foods they be the foods they eat. What's it called? He be messing with them and feeding us, man. What's it called? Now they trying to come up with resolutions on how to do a proper brain transplant. You know, which that brain bridge crap, it turns out to be fake. But that doesn't matter. What's it called? The whole point is Esau's still trying to come up with a way, like, what's it called? A method for immortality, man. What's it called? Such as brain, what's it called? Brain transplant. You know, switching, what's it called? Damaged bodies to a better body to continue on forever, things of that sort. You know, what's it called? He also be thinking about how he could defy the Lord upon his second coming. And that's why you got these energy directed lasers, man. What's it called? Which I know Israel is a big, contributor into that, man. And what's it called? And you saw a bit of that, man, with the Maui fires, right? That green directed energy directed laser that burned a few thousand acres for some real estate. But it goes on to say, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, which that word cleft is an archaic, meaning old, very old, right? It's a very old term, and it's an archaic term for caveman. And because Esau is a true, authentic caveman, right? He is a cave dweller. Now, what's it called? That's why when you talk about, that's why when you hear new history, so-called history about Neanderthals and what's it called, dim-witted, deformed assholes, about this people that supposedly lived billions of years ago, millions of years ago, that's all bull. Esau just be switching it up. Really, those remains he be finding are of himself, man. He's a true Neanderthal. What's it called? Yeah, and what's it called? Historically, he doing in Mount Seir, right? Mount Seir. Esau doing Mount Seir. That's in the book of Genesis, the 38th chapter. All right, but Shabbat with me, it doesn't make the mention now. And in verse 8, or Shalakia, I'm mistaken, it was 36. Somewhere around here. Doesn't make the mention how Esau is Edom. And if I can't find it, then so be it. I'll just have to quote it. Right. Alright. Yeah, kind of. Genesis 36, chapter, verse 8, and it doth read out, thus dwelt Esau on Mount Seir. Right, Esau is Edom, and these are the generations of Esau, the father of the Edomites, Mount Seir. And for those of you trying to switch it up, like, no, Esau ain't Edom. He always got Jake like that, man. You always have people out there that try and flip it up and make it what's it called? They just wanna reject everything you teach them. Well, Esau ain't Edom. Well, it's right there. Esau is Edom, right? Esau, the father of the Edomites, man. Dwelt Mount Seir. We have the whole generations of Esau right there. What's it called? Going back to, verse 3, because the rock, what's it called? You currently have a subsection of these Edomites out there in the country of Georgia, which is completely different from the state of Georgia. Hey, you got these Americans out there that what's it called? They've been thinking London is a country, or that Antarctica is a U.S. state, something like that. And you got that, what's it called? These TikTok interviews, which are all over the place, whether on YouTube Reels, what's it called, on Newsbreak, and you got the Newsbreak, what's it called, Reel slide thing. And what's it called? You slide through the reels, and it shows you what's it called, various clips of that. Yeah, Americans are fucking stupid, man. What's it called? Starting off with Jake, man. And what's it called? Thou art destroyed with lack of knowledge, man. You know, Jose the Fourth said there were 6. Jake is retarded. You know, what's it called? If anything, that's really a mercy kill what the Lord's gonna bring upon. What's it called? This place, man. If people are, what's it called? Silly and through. What's it called? His habitation is high. There's a lot you're going back to. What's it called? The country of Georgia, and that's near the Caucasus region, right? And that's where you get the term Caucasian. Though they try and discredit that and say it's inaccurate now. What's it called? It's just because you could put 2 and 2 together and realize that Esau is Edom, right? He's a true caveman. But they trying to, what's it called, flip that up and say it's not. Say that's not the proper term. That's not the proper term. But what is the proper term then? Why you ain't white? You're fucking red, right? Genesis, if I'm mistaken, it was the 35th chapter or 25th chapter. So going into when Esau was born, he was born red and hairy, right? Continuing on, it says his habitation is high. Yeah, going into these goddamn skyscrapers, man. You know, what's it called? You look at these various metropolitan areas. Metropolitan meaning, what's it called? Big city, right? Major city, if you will. And what's it called? You got, what's it called? Places like Atlanta, Chicago, downtown LA, to be precise. You know, Manhattan, and New York City. They all have skyscrapers, man, right? And what's it called? When you look at it from a scenic view, if you will, hey, you're like a photographer and you're out there with the phone trying to take a nice picture. You look at you try and capture the whole all the skyscrapers within the frame. It looks like a mountain range, man, right? All curved up and whatnot. And you got the highest what's it called, building in the center, representing the summit. You know, the summit's being the highest peak. And what's it called? You got your Wilshire Grand Center, right? What's it called? And Edom Tower. Edom Tower, which was really Freedom Tower, but you know, Edom Tower. And that's a good indicator Esau is Edom, man. You know, because if I'm mistaken, so-called or once upon a time when it was called Freedom Tower, now it's called World Trade Center. What's it called? That's supposed to be the tallest building in America, if I'm not mistaken, right? What's it called? Yeah, you could also liken it to back in Italy, back in the 1200s, when you had the what's it called? The skyscrapers, you know, those tall towers, back in the city of Bologna, Italy. You know, so that's indicating Esau Edom. You know, his habitation is high, man. You know, Esau's all rich and whatnot. What's it called? I was speaking to the Yak last time. He's telling me how, what's it called, middle class really differs from middle class with Esau really differs from middle class with Jake, man. Yeah, you got Jake out there living, what's it called, these 2-story homes, if you know, if they're rich enough. You know, they're not sellouts. It's like a general average Jake that actually made money living in a 2-story home. You know, you got Esau out there living in 3 stories, man. Practically holds a mansion for what's it called, middle class. You know, what's it called? They're out there in there, what's it called, penthouses and whatnot. They have nice balconies. You know, we don't, man. Unless you're very lucky, you know, unless the Lord blessed you, right? Hey, because what's it called? There's no small thing with the Lord do such a thing, right? 1 Samuel, the 2nd chapter, I'm gonna pull that out, man. What's it called? And it does make the mention how this is Hannah's prayer, man. Right? Hannah was praising the Lord because what's it called? She was able to bear a child. Because she was, what's it called? Barren. All right. 1 Samuel, the 2nd chapter. All right. Verse 7. The Lord maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and lifteth up, right? He raiseth up the poor out of the dust and lifteth up the beggar from the dunghill, to set them among the princes and to make them inherit the throne of glory. For the pillars of the earth are the Lord's, and he hath set the world upon them. Right? What's it called? What's the Lord gonna do for us, man, very soon? Hey, he's what's it called? Make us rich, man. I forget what priest it was, and it was in the book of Psalms, though. Going in how the Lord, what's it called? Put us in Esau's stead, man. You know, Esau's rich right now. He's full, and we're gonna be full, rich, prosperous, man. And Esau's gonna be put in our stead, right? The tables will turn, right? So what's it called? Yeah, he will keep the feet of his saints. You know, referring to Israel, right, man? Because what's it called? Saint means sanctified, set apart, and we're set apart. You know, first and foremost, the elect. Lord, we're of that elect. But what's it called? Generally, what's it called? The nation of Israel is supposed to be set apart. You know, above all nations, right? That's in the book of Deuteronomy, the 7th chapter, verse 6. right? What's it called? And the wicked shall be silent in darkness, for by strength shall no man prevail. Hey, keep this in mind. The adversaries of the Lord shall be broken to pieces, man. And who was our adversary? For the main part, for the most part, Esau Edom, right? What's it called? He's that devil. You know that devil. And people trying to switch up what's it called? The definition of devil, Lucifer, and Satan. You know, that fucking pisses me off, man. You know, that makes me laugh too. You know, you start to crack up. You know, like what's it called? Walter White or something. I don't know. Like a clown. You know, you're just like a clown, just like collapsing on the floor, just laughing. You know, just laughing at it. What's it called? You know, it's shocking, man. You know, even to this day, what's it called? Every time I hear that, man, it makes me crack up. Fallen angels. That's hilarious, man. When really the adversary, the word devil means adversary. You know, it's Esau Edom, right? Because what's it called? He has had a perpetual hatred upon our people. You know, Ezekiel 35th chapter, verse 5. I'll pull that out actually. You know, going to, if I'm not mistaken, it's the 37th chapter. What's it called? But what's it called? It's going Mount Seir, you know, Esau Edom. Right? We ain't talking about the physical landmass. What's it called? The Lord can't curse a physical landmass. It's not sentient, right? What was it called? Ezekiel the 35th chapter, verse 4. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord. Verse 1 actually. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man. You know, that ain't talking about Yahweh Shai. All right, one way to distinguish that is when it refers to Yahweh Shai, when it says son of man, son should be capitalized and man should be capitalized. Right? Son of uppercase S for son, of uppercase M for man, son of man. Right? That's Yahweh Shai. But when it's, what's it called, lowercase? What's it called? That's referring to prophets, man. You know, we're son of man, right? Because we're born of men. Hey, Yahweh Shai was born of men, right? He came back as, what's it called? Isaac saw men. Yahweh Shai himself came out the loins of man. Right, what's it called? Set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it. You know, not referring to the physical landmass. The Lord can't curse a physical landmass. It's not conscious. It's not sentient. You know, what's it called? What did the earth do, man? The earth is innocent. And if anything, she's freaking suffering, man. And what's it called? Oh, the sickness state with all this pollution. And that's all Esau Edom, right? For pollution. What's it called? Exceedingly polluted. Wickedness has exceedingly polluted earth. Wickedness is a form of pollution, man. You know, pollutes the mind of these people out there now. That what's it called, twisting up things and whatnot. What's it called? Now they're out there not giving the earth rest when they're supposed to give it rest. You know, that's why she's so. What's it called? She's freaking tired, man. You know, hey, but don't worry, Earth. You're safe, right? You'll be safe very soon. Very soon. It was about to shower you, you know, with that thermonuclear destruction. That's Earth medicine right there, man. That's medicine for the Earth, really for the people, man. What's it called? Because it's a purifier. Because thou hast had perpetual hatred, and I shed the blood of the children of Israel by the, that's a point right there. Perpetual hatred, and I shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, and the time of their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, I will prepare thee in the blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. What's it called? That's going to your future judgment, Esau Edom. Right, thermonuclear destruction, then a slow 1,000 years of captivity, preparing slave for what's it called, for the iniquity of your fathers. Right, he that leadeth into captivity shall be led into captivity. He that killed with the sword shall be killed with the sword. And ultimately, your lot of destruction being what's it called, a big old bonfire. Right, you burning in a big old bonfire. You're the wood, and what's it called? You'll cease to exist from that point on. You know. We'll read on in 1 Samuel the 2nd chapter, verse 10, the adversaries of the Lord shall be broken to pieces. And what's it called? You know, what's it called? They'll be broken to pieces throughout thermonuclear destruction, which will be, what's it called, the result of World War III. A result of World War III. And what's it called? Deliverance of Yahweh Shai. Right, what's it called? Yeah, because Yahweh Shai and the angels are going to come down here. What's it called? Smote this place, right? I'm going to pull that out in the book of 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter. Always putting these books out. Next dimension now. In verse 5, it reads, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven. You know, all nations, man. Because what's it called? Once Yahweh Shai and the angels come down here, they're gonna what's it called? Set their focus on them. First and foremost, Esau Edom, right? what's it called? It reads, to subdue the man that came out of the sea, which you can't subdue a spiritual man that's a God, right? And he says he's not going to meet thee as a man. You know what's it called? As a physical man? No, he's going to come back in his full glory, in that spiritual body, right? On a spiritual material made chariot, right? A chariot is made of spiritual material. For I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew upon it, right? And a great mountain, because what's it called? So like it makes mention how, but I would have seen a region or place where out the hill was raven, and I cannot. Yeah, going to show you how, what's it called? You can't find an origin of place. It's just gonna encompass the whole sky. You know, what's it called? Out on that sight, it's only so far that, what's it called? You can't see from one point to another. And you can only see the bottom from, what's it called, around your peripheral, around, what's it called, the max sight of your vision. What's it called? The most far you can see is what all you see is darkness. All you see is chariot. All you see is the father ship. The Yahweh Shai ship. And see, that goes to show you how messed up this place is, man. It's backwards. I was talking about a motherboard, a mothership, but what about a fatherboard, a fathership, right? It's called, this queendom is so, what's it called? Women dominate this place, man. Women dominate this world, man. And that's why this place is through. We're going back to the natural order, man at the top, right? So, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight, which durst meaning to dare. They dared fight. But it goes on to say, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand nor held sword nor any instrument of war, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. And you got what's it called, pastors out there, if they actually read the, Apocrypha, like the so-called Catholics, they're all clowns though. Yeah, those guys, pastors, whatever you call them, priests, I don't know. I don't know what the Catholic ranking system is, but they're out there talking about how, Jesus sent forth a fire. Some bullshit like that. It's fucking clown. It's crazy, man. That's not what it's talking about. It's talking about no physical. We have spiritual power, and we don't know how it's gonna be though. We can only imagine, right? And when we look at these superpower movies like Invincible and whatnot, we can only imagine, but we know it's gonna be 100-fold better, right? And we can even imagine, right? So who knows, man? You be to freaking, throw fire out of your mouth. But that's what I was talking about, man. It's talking about the cherry lasers, man. And I have this video on my gallery I found out on Telegram, but it basically shows a cherry in a different country, completely vaporizing a building. Well, not vaporizing a building, but more so showing its laser. And that thing, could vaporize one, right? So, and only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. Hey, that's how they destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. It wasn't no meteor. It was the chariots, man. Or else there'd be no point in angels going over there. The angels maneuver the chariots, right? That's why they went out. There's gonna be in the chariot. And they were all mixed together, and a blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and filled with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burning them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived. Because they all got vaporized, man, but only doesn't smell the smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. And that's what's gonna go down. Esau out here thinking about oh no, I'm gonna be Yahweh Shai. You ain't gonna be Yahweh Shai for shit, man. Literally, it literally said for the 2nd is the 15th chapter, for the word is faithful and true, right? And Esau's pride has deceived him, man. That's a fulfillment of prophecy out there. Esau's mind has deceived them, thinking they can defeat the Lord. You can't defeat the Lord at all. Ezekiel, also like Obadiah. Back to Obadiah, verse 3. That saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? And that's Esau's mentality, that he could run forever, man. That he could rule forever. That's why he's trying to achieve, this merging with man, technology. He trying to, impose this novus ordo seclorum, which is Latin for New World Order. Right, where we be able to assert dominance over the nations. Hey, that ain't gonna fucking happen, man. Isaiah the 14th chapter. And it doth make the mention verse, 14. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will at the Most High. That's Esau's mentality, man. Yet that should be brought down to the hell. Which hell, anytime I know physical on the realm, you know, that crap doctrine about physical on the realm, where all spirits, that been bad one single lifetime go down there for all eternity, that's crap, because that breaks the doctrine about the Lord being merciful, man. The Lord can't be merciful and then send you to a physical on the realm called hell. That's because hell don't exist. Hell is a state of affliction. And you look into that, word, it means a state of affliction. Jonah, the 2nd chapter, verse 3, if I'm not mistaken, goes into how Jonah was in that belly of the fish, and he was in the state of affliction, right? He was in hell. That's what it means. Yeah, because again, reincarnation is the thing. We all come back to, all spirits go back to the heavenly Father, the hand that gave it, right? That was Ecclesiastes, the 7th chapter, if I'm not mistaken, verse 13 or 16, makes a mention now. The body goes in the dust, to roughly paraphrase, and the spirit go back to the hand that gave it. All spirits go back to the spirit realm with the heavenly Father, Yahweh Bashim Shai, right? We got the punishment, and then they're back here, you're gonna carry it out. You know, the punishment from the past life. And it's an ongoing thing, man, ongoing cycle. But back to the same loss again at Revelation, the 21st chapter, if I'm not mistaken. He that be unjust, let him be unjust. He that be, unrighteous, if I'm not mistaken, let him be unrighteous. But I digress. Yet that should be brought down to hell to the size of the pit. And Esau's gonna be in a state of affliction for 1,000 slow years, man. And it's gradually happening right now, right? Because it's a destruction, man. You know, it ain't gonna be a transition to kingdom, and once we get rulership, you know, Esau will finally be beat down. No, he's being beaten down right now, right? That's how you transition from rulership. That's how you transition rulership from one man to another, you know, by beating down the first man, and then slowly, gradually giving it to the second one. All right, going back. Obadiah, verse 4. Thou exalt thyself as the eagle, which that word exalt means to lift up yourself on a high status, right? And thyself, right? It's italicized, referring to Esau, Edom. Thou exalt thyself as the eagle, which and you go into environmental science or whatever, you learn about food chains, food webs, and about food chain, if I'm mistaken, in this case. Talks about the general aspects of who eats who, if I'm not mistaken. And the 5th tropic level, you have the apex predators, in this case, the eagle, and that's how Esau tries to liken himself, right? As a matter of fact, America and other Edomite civilizations and secret societies, right? They're all associated with the eagle, right? As, Russia, double bald eagle, ancient Roman Empire by the eagle, right? With the SQPR banner, right? I forget what that stands for. I forget the SQ stand for. I remember what the P stands for, and the R, you know, PR. But blue scare, something like that. Romano, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. Something along those lines. But you also have Romania. I have to bring that out because when Romania adopted the eagle, it was to represent governmental authority or power for over a millennia, you know, over 1,000 years, man. Because you got something known as the phoenix, which is practically everlasting. You know, regenerates. It grows old, it dies, and immediately comes back from its dust. You know, you see an example of that in Harry Potter. I forget what film it was in or what book it was in. You had Dumbledore's pet phoenix, and grew old and died, at least in the film. And from its dust, it grew up again as a little baby phoenix. That's how he tries to portray himself, you know, a reincarnation, a regeneration, a rebirth. And that was a fulfillment of prophecy, right? Going back to early 15th century, if I'm not mistaken, or early 14th century, 13th century, along those lines, somewhere around there. It goes in how Esau, came back up again to the Renaissance. You know, Renaissance in Espanol, excuse me about that. It literally translates to renacimiento. Renacimiento in English means rebirth, man. You know, reincarnation, if you will. So Tota exalt thyself as an eagle, and Tota set thy nest among the stars, that's where I messed up. I was being so specific. I made a mention of the ISS. Anytime I know ISS, man, once Lucky curved me, I'm wrong, I'm not sure about that one. But anytime about Esau passing a part of the atmosphere, right? So forget what I said about that. So lucky about that. I'm not sure there's an ISS, but I know it went off specifically speaking about that. But I went off because I made the mention how he passed the point in the atmosphere, right? What's it called? So the Esau can't pass a point in the atmosphere, you know. So that's what I was taught, like about that. That's why I deleted the video and restarted it. But what's it called? In this case, really, you could pertain it to the rockets, you know, and the satellites he has. You know, what's it called? That's a truthful thing. You know, that's no lie. Yeah, Esau what was called through SpaceX, launching all those rockets, and you even got Starlink out there. What's it called with the star constellation? Which last time I saw it, or technically I encountered it twice. You know, first time I saw it, I thought it was the chariots, man, but it was no chariots. And I was out there giving praises. You know, then I switched up. What's it called? A row of chariots, and it turned out it was Starlink. And I searched up on the website, and it said where it could pass, and I saw it said Ventura County, you know, and I got depressed, man. I got sad. And I seen other Akim out there saying the same thing, but believing it was a chariot. You know, it's a depressing thing, but what's it called? It's actually not a chariot. It's actually Starlink satellites. It's called a Starlink. It's called a Starlink satellite constellation because it looks like a constellation. You know, it's a diagonal line, very straight. But it goes on to say how, and thus then among the stars, you could also pertain that to dominance over the nation of Israel, right? That's what I was taught too, right? Exodus the 32nd chapter. What's it called? Thou shalt be as the stars of, what's it called, heaven. And what's it called? Because we be increased in multitude, and the Lord actually did increase us in multitude. And that's why Jake cannot be numbered. And we're practically the biggest nation on earth, if you will. Because what's it called? Jake is scattered abroad throughout all nations, man. But you also got terrorists, right? Especially in Mexico, man. What's it called? Really, we all know that it's such a car. You know, it's a car. What's it called? So-called Mexicans. But really, what's it called? A lot of them are not Mexicans, man. What's it called? A lot of so-called Mexicans, or it's like they're called so-called Mexicans, but a lot of them are not actually Shashikarites. Not all Issachar, because what's it called? Look at the history. You got a lot of Arabics, you know, a lot of Ishmael, a lot of Ammon, a lot of Moab, a lot of Amalek. A lot of them, what's it called? Lived there, migrated there back in the 1900s, right? 1700s or so. You know, since colonial times, the Spanish Empire. What's it called? Now you got an Amalekite president. You know, which she could be an Amalekite or she could be Eve too. You know, because even then, it could be to the spirit where the Spirit of the Lord puts it in the hearts of Jake. What's it called? Which look like the heathen to what's it called? Migrate to Mexico. Maybe the artist Zacharias. And what's it called? That's how they were identified back in the ancient world until they got scattered abroad, and the Spirit of the Lord got put upon them to take them back to their homelands, right, back to their people, but looking like the heathen. So it could be that case too. You know, we don't know. It's all about the Spirit. Right, what's it called? Obadiah. It makes the mention now. Yeah, it's like it's gonna pull out the Exodus, the 32nd chapter. Right. You know, second book. Alright, if I'm mistaken, verse 12. Or verse 4 around there. 10. You know, and if not, so be it. Now, I guess like in verse 13 it reads, remember Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, thy servants, to whom thou swearest by thine own self. See, that's the covenant, man. You always read about the scriptures and mention Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, or either Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, aka Jacob, right? That was his first name. It's always referring to the covenant. It ain't Abraham, Isaac, and Esau. It ain't Abraham, what's it called? Ishmael and one of his prince sons. But what's it called? It's referring to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Simply that. You know, what's it called? And from there on, what's it called? The descendants of Isaac was like the descendants of Jacob. What's it called? Jacob are the 12 tribes of Israel. And, you know, the 12 tribes, what's it called? From the head tribe being Judah on down, right? Yeah, northern kingdom and southern kingdom. So it goes on to say, remember Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, thy servants, to whom thou swarest by thine own self, and says unto them, I will multiply your seed as the stars of heaven. And all this land that I have spoken of will I give unto your seed, and they shall inherit it forever. Right? Going back to Obadiah, the 1st chapter, verse 4. Thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord Yahweh by Shem Shai, right? Thence shall I bring thee down to the sides of the pits, right? If thieves came to thee, robbers by night, how art thou cut off? But they have not stolen until they have had enough. The Greek gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some to leave, what's it called, some grapes? Yeah, because what's it called, thieves brought to the point of satisfaction. And back in the law, it was commanded for us, what's it called, to leave grapes. For when we glean the grapes, we leave the grapes that fall. What's it called, for the poor, right? For what's it called, the orphans, right? The widows, you know, the poor people basically. But what's it called? Verse 5 really doesn't make sense to the average person, right? But you look at a different translation for some help. It breaks it down, you know, precisely. It breaks it down better. And basically went into how the Lord shall, what's it called, have thy enemies, you know, take everything away from you, man. Esau will have nothing left. Esau will be stripped clean of his power, his riches, everything, man. How art thou cut off, it says in the parentheses, right? Esau's the basest of men, right? And that's in the end of the 4th chapter, verse 17. He's baser than the heathen nations, and they're accounted for as nothing. So how much more Esau Edom? Though really the star of the show is Esau as a loser and the enemy. What's it called? The bad guy, the antagonist of this movie. What was it called? Man, he's nothing. He's extremely nothing. He's less than nothing, man. What's it called? That's what that word trivial means. Trivial means, what's it called? Something of less value. No, Salaki. The heathen are trivial. Esau is less than that. Esau's less than trivial. What's it called? Verse 6, how are the things of Esau searched out? How are his things sought up? Yeah, what's it called? Sermons of prophets be breaking these things down, man. What's it called? Esau trying to talk about how he tried to cut costs. And what's it called? The doctrine wasn't right about the Apocrypha. They tried to remove the Apocrypha because they broke it down that he was Esau Edom. They always try to come up with these arguments and whatnot. No, the simple case is Esau is Edom, right? And he's gonna be destroyed. Esau don't want that to be, what's it called, taught. But here it is, we're teaching it, man. Right? That's been a doctrine for a long time. That's been, it's like that true doctrine has been on the earth for a long time now. You know, what's it called? I'll pull out the 6th chapter, verse 7 through 9. You know, Esau, you could try and, what's it called, flip the script. You could try and switch it out however you want. You try and supposedly and try to upset prophecy. You can do all these things, man. It ain't gonna suffice, because at the end of the day, prophecy is set in place, right? Second is the 6th chapter, verse 7, or really verse 9. For Esau is the end. Actually, verse 7. Yeah, I was bringing it out. You know, verse 9 is such a small verse, might as well just quote it, but I want to pull it out. So I always bring out preachers prior to that to, you know, make it, what's it called, better. So then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times, or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? Right, and he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau, for Esau's the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, right? I had the hand of man, and betwixt the heel and the hand. Or what's it called? It was so significant. And what's it called? Jacob held the heel of Esau, right? Because it was referring to, you know, Esau coming into play first, and then Jacob being after, right? And Esau, you falling down hard, man. Hey, you already lived a good. You already had a good run. You already lived a good life. You know, it's too late now. You know, now it's my turn. You know, now it's our turn. God damn it. You know, you're living on borrowed time, anyways, man. Right? What's it called? Yeah, since the garden, man. You know, serpent. What's it called? The serpent and Eve. All right, serpent being Esau, Edom. He is that serpent, right? That's like cunning, man. What's it called? Hey, Psalms 58th chapter, if I'm not mistaken. Revelation the 20th chapter. I'll break it down for him. You know that he is a serpent. You know, a serpent being a snake, right? What's it called? That dragon. Right? That's what Esau is. You know. And it's funny, you got these people out there that talk about reptilians and whatnot. What's it called? That reptilian doctrine is through, man. All right, anytime I know what's it called? So-called aliens from a different country that the natural form are reptilians and they embody human form, that's bogus. That's bullcrap. But if there's any truth to that, what's it called about how reptilian is white man? Well, Esau is a serpent, but anytime I know physical reptilian, anytime I know what's it called, reptilian, alien, that doctrine is crap. All right, you know, don't believe that I'm talking about that I believe in reptilian. Reptilian is crap. I don't believe in reptilian. That's a bullcrap doctrine. You know, those are clowns out there. You play GTA 5 and you got Trevor and Ron talking about reptilians are gonna get you and all that. No, what's it called? We don't. That doctrine is true. But again, if there's any truth to that, Esau is a reptile, right? He's a serpent, right? A serpent is a reptile, right? He's a dragon. You know, And because he associated with the white man, Esau Edom. Again, let me clarify, reptilian doctrine is crap, but if there's any truth to that with the reptilian being Esau Edom, well, he is a serpent, and it's known in the scriptures, right? He's that serpent since the garden, Revelation, the 20th chapter, that great red dragon, right? As Psalm 58, what's it called? He'd be born speaking lies, right? As a dragon, but he is not a physical reptilian. He's a human with the title of a reptile, right? Because he lies, man. What's it called? It's when I was at philosophy. Also, that serpent juice, man. What's it called? We all know that serpent juice. That little syringe and a needle. You stick it in you, and then a few minutes later, you die. And that was a big thing a couple years ago. But what's it called? Verse 6, how are the things of Esau searched out? How are certain things set up? We breaking it down how Esau is Edom. It's like the so-called white man's Esau. And Esau's falling down hard. And what's it called? We be making known all the atrocities committed. War on terror, the Patriot Act, all brought to you by the Inside Job cause. What's it called? All the war crimes that be committed. And then Yahoo, that Edomite, what's it called? They trying to arrest him, right? What's it called? For war crimes against humanity. That right there, Esau Edom commits war crimes against humanity since what's it called? Forever, right? Colonial times. His rape, rob, murder. When you read various books about what happened in the Spanish Empire, you read about terrible things Esau did to Jake, man, or the Northern Kingdom. And the Southern Kingdom too, you can't forget about them, right? Hardcore bondage, right? I forget what man it was that served in the Civil War, but he was a Jake. And back when he was in slavery, it's like he fought in the Civil War as a Union soldier, obviously. But back when he was a slave, he got whipped by his master. And they took pictures of him, of his back. It's all scarred and marred. As an example, how Yahushua was the worst, man. Yahushua was literally scourged. He was bleeding. His wounds were fresh, raw, tenderized. It's like a tender, if you will. Everything. He was purple, red, pink, all types of colors from your flesh being beat up. He was bruised badly, man. Right? He should be bruised. If I'm mistaken, that's in Isaiah, one of those chapters, Isaiah the 60 chapter, or not 60 chapter, around those chapters of going into the future prophecy of Yahushua, which did it come to pass 2,000 years ago, but I digress. It reads, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee. Israel, Japan, Australia, EU and NATO, all these so-called allies, which are only temporary allies for America. They're all going to betray this place, right? Revelation the 17th chapter, verse 16, they shall hate the war, because the Lord is going to put it in their hearts to do so. Right? Have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound at thee. There is no understanding in it. Confederacy is It's kind of like a coalition, right? But coalition is temporary, if I'm not mistaken. More so, confederacy. It's just a union with various parties, countries, and whatnot. Uniting for one cause, and under one allegiance, right? And that's America and these other countries. All right, I just want to do a quick breakdown of those verses. Esau's gonna get destroyed hard, man. There's no backing out. There's no switching up, man. You can't break down prophecy. It is what it is at the end of the day, right? I'm mistaken. Revelation, the 18th chapter, verse 21 goes into their downfall too. All right, went to a great millstone. Like a great millstone. Yeah, I'm gonna bring that down. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall the great city Babylon be thrown down and shall be found no more at all. All right, violence, man. Violence. Hey, that's what we're here to bring. We're not here to physically conduct violence. Hey, we can defend ourselves if we have to, but we're here to preach about violence against America, man. Right? That's Jeremiah the 28th chapter. I was gonna end the lesson, but Spirit wants me to get more. I'll pull out Jeremiah the 28th chapter, verse 8. It does make the mention how the prophets that have been before me and feel old, outside both against many countries, like great countries, right? Of terror, evil. We're not here about cookies and rainbows. We're not here to talk about Esau, I forgive you, I'm gonna hold your hand. We ain't about that life, man. That's not how it's supposed to be. If you out there trying to get right with your oppressor, what's it called? Hey, then you an enemy of the state, man. The Lord ain't dealing with you. Hey, because what's it called? That's an enemy, right? You're out there trying to upset prophecy. You know, well, there wasn't a destroyer for that, right? Jeremiah 28, chapter verse 8. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old, such as Jeremiah himself, Isaiah, what's it called? The minor prophets, such as Habakkuk, you know, what's it called? Nehemiah, you know, Zechariah, Malachi, Yahushua was that great prophet. The apostles, those are all prophets too, right? Because they're prophesying, right? Hey, they're not John the Revelator break down what will happen. Book of Revelation, right? That's future prophecy that's coming out and play right now. Hey, that goes to show you how the apostles are prophets. Bishops are prophets. You know, the bishops, apostles, elders, high priests, all of them are prophets, man. What's it called? Probably the prophets that have been before me and before thee. And they're back here again today, man, right? We don't know who's who, though, obviously. I mean, we could pinpoint some spirits to some spirits, you know. Like we associate the other high priests, or it's like high priest. How other high priests are, could be is a reincarnation or was a reincarnation. You know, what's it called? Much left to me is in the spirit world right now. But what's it called? We believe he's a reincarnation of the Apostle John himself. The Apostle Torah, we believe he's the Apostle Paul. You know, things of that sort. We believe that King Masha was reincarnation of King David. We believe that other Abba was reincarnation of Elijah, right? You know, according to Malachi 4 and 5 on that one, right? And what's it called? Because things repeat themselves, right? Yahushua, what was it called? Broke it down that John the Baptist was Elijah coming back, but what's it called? He's paving the way again for the second time, right? The second coming, and he came back here again as the beloved Abba Bivens. Right, spirit, what's it called? Spirit has to be upon you to believe those things, man. If you can't, then what's it called? Which obviously, that goes to show you what's it called, because you don't remember crap. Let's see, it's the first chapter, verse 11. There's no remembrance of the former things. Then again, that shows a sign of humility as well. You know, they're gonna be out there talking about, yeah, I am. You know, what's it called? Praise me. I don't gotta teach because I'm not the elect. No, they're not gonna be like that. What's it called? Now, if he's already told these things, you know, he'd be, what's it called? Tap dancing. What's it called? Yagging. You know, shaking his, what's it called? I don't know, wiggling his wing arms and whatnot, you know, because he got all that fat on him. He's talking about, yeah, I'm a God, man. You ain't no God, man. That's not about the Israelites. But I digress. The prophets that have been before me and before thee have all prophesied both against many countries, right? And the great kingdoms, against great kingdoms, which that word kingdom could be interchangeable with an empire. More so, this place is an empire, right? Right, the American empire. Well, what's it called? Because an empire is a union of various conquered countries under one under one authority, right? You know, only one sovereign, that's Esau, Edom, right? What's it called? So more so, it's an empire, but you can also liken it to a kingdom. So we're prophesying against this great country. We're prophesying against this great kingdom, you know, and that's that great kingdom. You know, it's an empire because what's it called? Really, it's that chief of nations. Jeremiah 31st chapter verse 7, right? What's it called? And they don't need EU. They all conduct with themselves, but really, the last say, and who has a say? What's it called? Is America. Whatever America says goes, right? So what's it called? We're prophesying against this place, and really generally the whole globe. You know, all these other countries, like what's it called? All these EU countries, you know, Russia, and what's it called? All African countries. We're prophesying against all the heathen nations as well. Hey, what's it called? Isaiah 34 chapter verse 1. You know, I'll bring it out, man. It reads, verse 1. Come near, you nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world and all things that come forth of it. And we're speaking of which, I'm gonna hold camp tomorrow, so I can, you know, what's it called? Not to worry. What's it called? It says great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pest. Yeah, we're talking about what's it called? World War III, man. A second woe is pest, and a third woe cometh. Right? A woe is death and destruction, right? As well as grief, right? Lamentation. And those are all acquainted with war. Right, what's it called? You get that 1,000-yard stare. You get depressed, and what's it called? Suicidal tendencies. You know, after some years, you recover. But then what's it called? When you see something associated with the military or whatever, you can see a chicken drumstick that you've been eating for like 4 years out on deployment. What's it called? You recover after some years of leaving it, and you see a chicken drumstick. You're out there. What's it called? Shaking and freezing, having that PTSD, man. What's it called? That's an example of war. You know, it's terrible, man. Right? So we're prophesying of World War III and of evil. Right, because we're gonna see Jacob's trouble come to play. A lot of crap go down. What's it called? That hour of temptation with people with Jacob. And Jay got there, a lot of what's it called Israelites that were in this thing. They're gonna fold in what's it called worship the beast, man. They're gonna take that Marcus Aurelius and whatnot. What's it called? We're gonna see a lot of things go down, right? And that pestilence, right? Pestilence being sickness, you know. Now he's just coming out with what's it called, avian flu or bird flu, whatever they call it. What's it called? You had that whole drama back in 2020 as well. What's it called? Verse 9, the prophet which prophesied of peace. If we don't prophesy of peace for this place, you know, that talk about God bless America, ain't no God blessing America, man. God curse America. That's a true doctrine, man. What's it called? Now we prophesy of peace for our people, but it's like more birth pains. You know, we have to go through the bad to receive the good. You know, it's a transition of power, rulership, right? You know, to bring the kingdom of heaven, which is the kingdom of the nation of Israel, starting with Yahweh Shai, the kingdom of Yahweh Shai more so. We have to, what's it called, bring these countries down, primarily this place, man, right? So we prophesy peace for our people, though, not for the whole world. You know, this world is gonna end. Yeah, we're those crazy crackers out there holding those signs talking about how the end is come. You know, the ending is near. Yeah, the end is near. The end of this age is near, and we're at the end of the end. What's it called? When the word of the prophet shall come to pass, then shall the prophet be known that the Lord truly sent them. Yeah, because Hananiah, you read about the history, Hananiah, what's it called, was talking about how, what's it called, the Lord would deliver, and Jacob, what's it called, Nebuchadnezzar's hand. That wasn't the case, man. Because, you know, sovereign Lord, you know, the hand of the Lord is upon the earth, right? What's it called, the Lord's in control of all these things. Psalm 76 chapter goes into how, what's it called, the Lord's able to do all these things, what's it called. I'm gonna pull it out, actually. You know, what's it called? You're talking about what's it called? The Lord breaking the yoke off of what's it called? The next of Esau, Edom, like today or tonight, and supposedly it's gonna happen tonight. What's it called? Then you ain't being dealt with, man. You're trying to upset prophecy, man. You know, what about what's it called? That role of the Marcus Aurelius. When's that gonna play? Hey, what's it called? When did Akim start getting martyred? I have no account of Akim. What's it called out there? What's it called? Getting martyred. You know, getting beheaded with the guillotine. And what's it called? One of the news is to say that America's been destroyed. Gosh, I'm in America. You tell me this is purgatory? No, because none of this stuff happened, man. You know, not yet. And we know it's soon though. You can only wait. Not gonna be out here. What's it called? Be getting patient. The whole point is about patience, man. He that endures until the end, the saints shall be saved. Patiently suffering. God damn it. But what's it called? I'm thinking in Psalm 76 chapter. Make the mention how. If not, I feel like I got the wrong precept and I remember the right precept. But if that is the case, what's it called? It's alright, I look for another time. And sometimes it gets difficult to find the right precept. You know, I don't got the device yet, you know, I'll coordinate. The whole point though is, hey, this way is falling down hard, and you can't do anything about it. That's a fulfillment of prophecy. And what's it called? I'm gonna pull out 2nd Ezra again. Reread. You know, we always bring out the same precepts over and over again. Now the Apostle Torah says, like a broken record. That's how we're gonna be, right? Like a broken record. You got a broken record or broken CD or a scratched up CD. You put it on a freaking DVD player. You're out there trying to play a song. What's it called? It sings. What's it called? Beat It by Michael Jackson, and just keeps on saying beat it over, singing over and over again. That's how we be like, man. What's it called? I'm gonna end it off. 6th chapter, verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, right? And Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, right? And that's prophecy out there. But what that means is I want to end off a lesson. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father. And it's only begotten Son who this world so inwardly caused God and Jesus Christ. Those are not the true names, right? It's not about Mathmar. It's not what's it called? Burnmento. It's not what's it called? Yeah, Yahweh. It ain't Yahuwah. It ain't Yahushua. It ain't Haya. It ain't Yeshaya. Yeshaya means Isaiah, if I'm not mistaken, in the Hebrew. What's it called? It ain't any of those names, man. It's simply Yahweh or Yahweh Shai, right? That's Hebrew. Yahweh means he exists. Yahweh Shai means he would deliver, right? Yahweh Shai in the Hebrew, the root words are Yahweh and Shawai. Shawai means deliver. Yahweh is the true name of the Heavenly Father. Yahweh will deliver, right? With that being said, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Harachak Wadash. You know, double honor speaking to the apostles and elders at great millstone who will and tell us this 100% truth. Much peace and blessings be unto you, hopeful, like out the bush out this word of thought, truth, and sincerity. To all you, I can do say shalom. Until the next one, I does say shalom. أبقى تقيسون وأوت.